Okay, so my GoPro shoulder cam isn't working, so I'm just gonna record this through my phone, and I don't want to hold my phone up, so you're just gonna see the top of my car, maybe my sunroof if I can adjust it there, so it's gonna be pretty boring on the visuals. A little bit boring. Alright. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I was thinking about making a video today, and I was thinking of all these different ways to explain it, and then I thought, you know what? It's best just to leave that as a mystery, because some things, like, I know, like, Hollywood is going backstory crazy right now, and like with Aliens, when they did the LV-246, I think it was, and you found the big space jockey crashed in the ship, is how they came across the alien, because the alien got in the space jockey. And like, what I didn't like about it is space, the galaxy, universe, like, who knows where that space jockey giant ship came from that crashed on LV-246 with the alien. He could have jumped from, I don't know, a different galaxy. Like, they have some kind of jump drive, they can fold space and jump to this galaxy, and maybe that's how the alien got here. It's literally from a different, like, a nearby galaxy, maybe like Andromeda. And it's good. Like, some things you just have to leave as a mystery. And then, you know, they came out with this Prometheus, and they explained all the space jockey, and they want to destroy Earth because they tried to do a space jockey Jesus. Like, I'm not even joking. They sent one of those space jockey guys, the giant white muscle dudes, down as Jesus, and he failed the test. So now they decided to destroy humans, which is basically like I don't know, a lesser version of them. Like, they created us in their image, but we weren't, like, to their stage of evolution, so they wanted to start the cycle all over. And then for whatever reason, they just like, oh, we're gonna destroy them. Like, why? I mean, they had to go through that same process to get to where they are. Why would they want to not let us try to overcome our struggles as a civilization? Why would they just be like, nope, they failed, blow them up? Like, huh, what? And then, like, well, yeah, it's like, and then there's weird, like, I get the xenomorphs, they, you know, they change, right? So the xenomorph in Prometheus was different because it came out of one of the space jockeys, so obviously it's not going to be the same. Whereas a xenomorph that comes out of a human is going to be different. So, like, I get it, the xenomorphs change their appearance on who their host is because they're designed to replicate themselves through their host. So obviously they're going to, you know, a space jockey alien isn't going to be the same as a human alien because it won't be as efficient as reproducing itself. But, like, I think Prometheus could have been, I mean, it wasn't really that bad of a movie. I just didn't like all the explanation. Like, they should, like, it would have been better if they just went to LV-247 or whatever what number it was. They found these ships, and for whatever reason they had these canisters of goo in them. Like, don't explain why. Don't, like, wake up the dude and hyper freeze and, like, oh, we're going, just, like, have it still a mystery. That would have been a great movie if they found the old space jockey ship and just have the android figure out how to turn it on, and then the android, for whatever reason, goes David, and the android is just like, I don't like the human race, so he decides to set a course to Earth, and David does all this. So what would have been better is if David sets a course for Earth, and then, like, basically everything is the same, you just don't have the space jockey wake up from hyperfreeze, or just have something like, oh, the space jockey's in hyperfreeze, but if we wake him up, it will kill him unless we have some advanced, you know, we have to basically take him to the most advanced medical facility on Earth to wake this dude up. So they can't wake him up because he would die, right? The space jockey that pilots the ship and the theatrical version. So just leave the space jockey on ice. David, against everybody else's advice, because this thing is full of those goo, and have those two scientists like get still killed by the goo, but just don't have them be complete morons. Just like they get stuck in the ship, and then don't be like, hi little guy, like have them look at the goo, and then that snake pops up, and they get flipped out and try to run, but the snake's so fast it jumps on his suit. Like have something like that, not like, oh hi little guy, let me tickle your face. And be like, this snake rises out of the goo, and they just like try to run, but the snake flies through the air and just grabs his mask. That would have been better. And then they have to keep the space jockey in hyperfreeze or cryofreeze, whatever he was in. David just decides to go back to Earth because he wants to wake up because David wants to go back to Earth because he wants to wake up the space jockey, but nobody wants to do it because of all those black goo things that just killed those two guys. So David somehow figures out a way to launch the ship, and maybe had, instead of the space jockey kill those two people, like David tricks the old guy and the old Wayland guy into coming over there and like wake up the space jockey, and David's like no, and then the old Wayland dude like just starts cussing out David like, I brought you all this way and you're not doing what I say, and I'm going to deprogram you, I'm going to cut your wires and take you apart bit by bit. And then David just like hits him in the chest, and like not really meaning to, he just hit him in the chest, and he got angry because, the David version, something like he's too much like humans. He doesn't know how to use his emotions, and he accidentally kills the old guy. And then the security crew sees that, so they try to take down David, and then David has to kill the other two security guys or whatever. So then David kills Wayland, the two security guys, and that one lady runs for it. And then David starts to take off the ship, right? And then just basically the rest of it plays out exactly as it did. So then have the doctor lady whose boyfriend got totally screwed over by David because David put a little drop of that black goo in his whiskey, like a total dick. Like, wow, you're gonna really? That is the worst thing to do ever. That's worse than roofie. Like, he put this black goo thing in this dude's drink, knowing it was gonna like transform him into a monster, and this dude just like gets transformed into a monster. Like, so that was like, David is like a devil or a demon or something, and then they have to blowtorch the dude that stop him because he's a crazy thing. Wow, where was I going with this? I don't remember, but yeah. So then just have basically most everything play out the same. Like, she gets pregnant, but don't have it be so dramatic. Not like, just like do the abortion thing. Make sure they have a medical pod for a female, because why are you going to go light years on this super advanced spaceship and only have a male medical pod? Like, come on, dude. Have two males and one medical pod. So the medical pod gets this thing out. It's a little squid thing, and then they freeze it. It doesn't like turn into Captain Ahab's squid. Like, that was ridiculous. But so now they have this frozen squid in quarantine, whatever. They just like somehow I don't know, suspended animations is the thing. No matter what it does on a monocular letter, it's stuck. It can't grow any larger. So they got this little squid trapped in the Prometheus ship. David just killed the team that was supposed to wake up the space jockey, but he lied to the old man. Now David is lifting off on the giant space jockey ship and going to Earth because he wants to wake up the space jockey. But everybody's thinking, wow, what is David going to do? What if he releases the goo on Earth? So there's this big debate back and forth. like, what should we do? And then the captain and the co-pilots just decide to ram the ship. The captain, the navigator, and the pilot decide to ram the ship, those are my 3 favorite characters in that entire movie. There's an ambulance, better stop. Is the captain, the co-pilot, and navigator. Those are my 3 favorite characters. And so then everybody else goes to the rescue ship. I don't know, I think it's Wayland's daughter. Yeah, it's Wayland's daughter, which is very, very attractive woman, by the way. So they all scramble in her lifeboat. That gets ejected. It crashes. It doesn't crash and get all screwed up. Like, it has systems to safely land. Like, you don't eject the lifeboat and then just crashes and get all destroyed. Like, how is that even possible? Like, it has to have some self-guiding system where that thing gets ejected, and if it's gonna crash on the ground, just turn on all the thrusters and get altitude until you find a place to land. Like, just eject the thing and it crashes and then it's all broke. Like, wow, that's the worst lifeboat ever. So yeah, I don't know, like, I can't remember how many was with them when they were going to ram the ship. I think Wayland's daughter was the only one, the very attractive woman. So I guess she gets in the life pod, she lands. The scientist lady is running for her life while that ship takes off, and then also at that time, then the pilot, co-pilot, or the captain, pilot, and navigator, they ram the Prometheus right into the space jockey ship and all that stuff. So basically, pretty much the same thing plays out, right? And yeah, and then the scientist gets to the lifeboat, and the Wayland's daughter is still alive, and they're having this conversation. But when that giant ship crashed, they really didn't understand the hyperfreeze because it was so advanced from that space jockey. So what they didn't realize is he could wake up, but they just didn't understand it. They thought it would kill him, or they weren't really sure, and they didn't want to take the risk. So the space jockey dude gets up, looks around, his whole ship is destroyed. He's like, wow, who destroyed my ship? So maybe he is able to go through some log or something, and he figures out, wow, it's these humans. They just came and fucked our shit up. And he goes to the lifeboat, and he's the one that's trying to get at the Wayland's daughter and the scientist lady, wife. And then I don't know how that could play out. Like, I don't know if the space jockey would want to kill him, or maybe just like even a better twist. They think the space jockey's trying to kill him, so he's like figuring out a way to get in there, like banging on the door or whatever. And then he leaves, and they're like, oh good, he left, da da da. And then he comes back with like this super advanced little thing that just opens the door. And then he comes in there, and they're like, oh, he's gonna kill us. And then like he puts his hands on both their heads, and then he just like can read their thoughts, and like kind of like a Vulcan thing, but a space jockey thing. I don't know, not have it be exactly the same, but somewhat some kind of similar thing. And then he realizes, oh well, they weren't really trying to destroy my ship, just things went backwards in this android. So then he just lets them go and walks off. And then they're like, wow, they're trying to make sense of what just happened. Like the space jockey looked like he was going to kill the scientist lady and Wayland's daughter. And they're just like, wow, we didn't die. And he didn't destroy anything in the lifeboat. All he did was open the door and just touch their head and see their memories. And he walks off and just have time go by. And then the space jockey takes off in one of those other ships. And then nobody knows where he goes. So then the daughter and the scientist's wife are like, wow, what should we do? Like, they don't have any way to get back to Earth. The ship is destroyed. Prometheus is destroyed, blasted all over the place with that other one. So they finally mount an expedition. Oh no, they just fly, because the lifeboat is still got some fuel in it. Like, it's got enough fuel to cruise around, right? Maybe they could even go like cruise around the solar system, but they can't do interstellar flight. So they fly around and they find one of the other space jockey ships, and they get David's head. Yeah, they get David's head, and he's like, sorry, I totally screwed everything up. And they're like, shut up. He's like, can you put my head back on my body? No, head on your body. You're staying just a head, dude. You totally malfunctioned our whole mission up, blew up our ship. No, you're not getting put back together. You're just having your head, and we're going to keep your body way in some other place so you have no idea where it's at. So we could put you back together, but we're not. And then, like, trick David and be like, you pilot this ship, and if you take us where we want to go, we'll put your body back together. Other than that, if you don't, we're going to eject it into space, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to smash your head into a million pieces and then eject all that into space. So, like, David has to, like, they're like, take us back to Earth. And then, so David obviously takes him back to Earth in this big space jockey ship. And then now, Weyland-Yutani has this, like, workable space jockey spaceship, like, so advanced. And then just end the movie from there. That's the end of the movie. And then now you have a reason for, the humans just to get, like, super advanced tech, because they can, like, slowly reverse engineer the ship somehow. And then you could use that for the reason that the space jockeys figured out the humans took one of their ships back to Earth and are reverse engineering it. So now the space jockeys want to destroy Earth. Like, give them a reason. Like, the space jockeys are saying, oh, the humans have one of our most, like, pretty advanced ships, and they're not supposed to have that. So now that would be a reason for them to come destroy the human race, because the human race would advance way too fast and they're not ready for that level of technology. So there, I just fixed the entire Prometheus movie. Maybe, but yeah, all right. We'll just leave it at that, and hidey-ho. Have a good day, chaps, because I'm not English. My English accent is buggered. Later. Why can't it hear me? Oh, I gotta turn that thing off. Can this work? Can this work? Can this work? Why doesn't it work?